Good evening, Muppets, and welcome to another edition of Guinea Pig Theatre. I know, Fatty, look, there's a bucket of vegetables right there. You can pick what you want. It's like a guinea pig buffet. This is Paddington Bear. He and his brother Gizmo Bear have been here for a while. So if you're looking for a piggy, this is where you come. So tonight we're doing 10 ways certain people from a certain group, from a certain state, from a certain country, can do the right thing gracefully without losing face and not bringing any more embarrassment to the departments. So, of course, number one is shut down the pet stores. Like, if you stop them from selling guinea pigs, then we wouldn't have so many guinea pigs because at least 75% of them come from Petco. Like, girl, if they're coming from Petco, we're obviously not the problem. Hello.
Number 2 would be learn about the animal you're dictating rules about. Guinea pigs would die if we actually followed all the rules in the 330 CMR. They have a specific temperature, a specific type of food, like 90% of it is hay, and there are things that don't get covered in the 330 CMR that is absolutely imperative for guinea pigs to have. I know, Paddington. Mad guinea pig on the loose.
Number 3. So instead of saying can't and don't, let's just use the word minimize. So wipe and dust often the non-impervious items to minimize the dust. That way, we're not being so negative. We're minimizing.
Number 4 would be clean cages often. Here we go with that word again. To minimize noxious odors. We can't clean their cages daily. They have to eat their poop. Their poop, their poop, their poop. I know, in the bucket. It's a grand place to hide. But if we clean often, then we can minimize things like noxious odors and poop on the floor.
Number 5 is like to foster and adopt more bonded males to minimize the amount of cages in the store. Like, I don't think it's that hard to understand, really. The reason we have so many is going back to number 1, the pet stores sell them with no type of, hey, do you even know anything about the pet you're buying kind of information. We give out like a whole folder, just saying. But yeah, if we could adopt and foster out more, then we could minimize the number in the store. Crazy, right? Number 6 would be to sweep more often. This would minimize the hay on the floor. And again, it's not don't have hay on the floor or you can't have hay on the floor. It's sweep more often to minimize the hay on the floor. Because we've already done the sweeping. And look, those little buggers have pushed hay on the floor again. Even though we just did it. So that's where that's going to be. Number 7. So we talked to several pest departments to see what we could do about the fly situation. And what they said is they said use stuff that is non-toxic to guinea pigs. That way, if somebody's on a fly strip and they fall into a cage, the guinea pig ain't gonna die. But if we actually brought an exterminator in here and they used a pesticide and a fly got into a cage with a guinea pig would die because it's poison. And we don't need none of that in here. No poison. So we ain't having that. So our number 7 rule is use guinea pig safe fly strips, spider traps, whatever. And that will minimize this so-called infestation. Now today we don't got that many flies, and you know why? Because it's getting a little colder out. But when it gets warm, remember we have a heated ceiling and a heated floor, we're going to have flies. So we will use guinea pig safe non-toxic ways to get rid of the flies and the spiders, and that way we are minimizing the amount of flies in our infested place. Just saying. Just saying.
Number 8 would be to mop often. This would minimize soiled floors. Soiled floors. Look at this floor. It's soiled. Soiled, I tell you. That is dirty. It's because we ain't mopped yet. But by mopping more often, we can minimize the amount of soil on the floor. Number 9 is just straight up. Adapt to situations. We don't disagree with all of the rules in the 330 CMR. What we're saying is the majority of those pertain specifically to cats and dogs. Guinea pigs are at the other end of the spectrum. They're not a cat. They're not a dog. They don't get immunized. They don't get tagged. They don't get tattooed. They generally do not get fixed. And they don't even have to see a vet, really, unless if there's something wrong with them, which is usually respiratory. But if people who worked in this certain department in a certain state, in a certain country, could learn to adapt more to the animals that they're trying to, put jurisdiction over on their rules and everything, they'd understand a little bit better that these rules don't make any sense for the guinea pigs. We're also not your average shelter and rescue. We're a community resource, emotional support guinea pig sanctuary. So we're not going to fall under every rule that they have. And I think their inability or unwillingness to adapt is what is making the whole situation so hard. Number 10. On 10 ways we can get out of this gracefully without any real issues. Oh, sure, now there's going to be a fly because I said there was no flies. Craziness. Number 10. Follow higher-ups' recommendations. Cahill said there would be no euthanizations, nor has there been. This leads us to believe that they're not going to come in and put them all down, and we actually have a fighting chance. Then John LeBeau said, just finish the quarantine room, and we'll give you a registration. So that's what we're going to work on. Right now, we're having a bit of an issue. The contractor is coming back out, but it is the holidays, so it's going to take us a little time. And it has taken, that certain department, MDAR, in Massachusetts, almost 2 years to decide what they want us to do. So all we're asking for is a little more time, a little more compassion, and a bit more understanding. And instead of can't have or do not have, let's try to use the word minimize to make it a little more positive. On a funny side, totally, I know you guys are going to get this, we would like to say a huge shout out and thank you to the MDAR, the certain people in a certain area of work, in a certain state, in a certain country, because you guys have legit triple the number of followers we have on social media. So yeah, there's that. And we do appreciate that more people are hearing about us, but we would also appreciate a little more compassion, a little more understanding. We're really doing the best we can, but it is still sort of COVID season. There are still things in place that make it harder to do everything that they want done, but we're doing the best that we can do. Are you done eating, sir? You've eaten half the bucket, Fatty. So from Paddington Bear and everyone at the Guinea Pig Sanctuary, really, you don't need more. We would just like to say goodnight, Moppets. We hope your holiday is safe and happy. We're here every day except for Wednesdays, even if there's a holiday. So Christmas, not on a Wednesday. Christmas Eve, not on a Wednesday. That means we will be here. And you can come in to feed them, or if the holidays really aren't your thing, just come in and fill up some water bottles. Okay? Ta-ta, darlings. We love you. Week. Week. You're not going to week? Of course you're not, because then you'd have to stop eating, Fatty.